Have you ever thought about how ancient Rome was ruled?
No, but I would love to know.
Allow me to help. How the Romans ruled the empire changed over time. Some people believe that Rome was first established by two twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. They were sons of god of war, Mars. After their birth, the king ordered them killed and threw them in the river, but they survived and then were raised by a fox.
Raised by a fox, were they cunning?
Cunning enough to kill the king who ordered their murder.
What happened next?
The brothers went to war. Romulus won. He named the city of Rome.
Fascinating.
But that's a legend and probably didn't really happen, so what did?
Actually, Rome was ruled 3,000 years ago by a monarchy in which people voted king. This was the case after many years Rome became a republic.
What's a republic?
Good question. A republic is where many consuls, like politicians, make decisions on how to rule Rome and the empire.
And this was the case until emperors then ruled over Rome. They made all the decisions, and one of them was to expand the empire and even invade England.
Roman emperors were, well, interesting to say the least.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Please explain.
Well, there was Julius Caesar, who many people thought was a Roman emperor but was actually an army general. He tried to invade Britain twice but failed.
Then there was Caligula. He gave his horse a top position in his council.
His horse? Really?
Yeah, it was no problem to Caligula.
Following Mad Caligula, Claudius came along. He was the first emperor to successfully invade Britain, and to celebrate he rode his elephants through the streets of Colchester. Cool. Were there any other emperors? Yeah, loads. For instance, there was Nero. He was known to be both cruel and crazy, but did manage to squash Boudicca's rebellion against the Romans in Britain. Finally, it's worth mentioning Emperor Hadrian. He was famous for building a wall on the north of England. Some of it still stands today. Why did he do that? People north of the wall were to be feared, and Emperor Hadrian wanted to keep them out of Roman territory.
Did Romans believe in gods?
Yes, but not just one god. Romans believed in many different gods. There was Cupid, who was god of love. He could fire arrows into a person and make them fall in love with the next person they saw.
There was Neptune, who was god of the sea. He rode a dolphin and had a powerful trident as a weapon.
Then there was Jupiter. He rode a winged horse and could throw lightning bolts from the sky.
Rome had gods for pretty much everything. They prayed to gods such as Mars, the god of war, before they went into battle, hoping he'll give them strength and courage to fight.
Did you know that in Roman temples they had statues of their gods and gave them offerings such as bread and wine?
Fascinating.
What was the Romans' life like?
Well, they did similar things to what we do today and had interests in fashion, food and entertainment.
Did they all live similar lives?
No.
There was a big difference between rich and poor people.
For instance, rich people would have a fair better diet of fresh and exotic fruits, as well as meat, eggs and fish. Poor people would live on porridge and leftover fruit from markets, or that had been grown by themselves.
Poorer families would also live in huts and have poorer living conditions, where rich families would also have stone-built houses that even had underfloor heating.
Did you say that Romans had slaves?
Absolutely. Some rich families could have hundreds of slaves at a time. The slaves came from tribes located in places such as Syria, North Africa and Britain. Once these slaves were brought to the Roman Empire, they were sold at slave markets to rich families.
That's shocking.
I know. Slaves could be men, women, boys or girls, and were typically used as farmers or miners, educators of their masters' children, or made to fight as soldiers or gladiators. And do you want to know something totally mad?
Absolutely. It was there that at one time the Romans had so many slaves that the number of slaves was greater than the number of free living people in Rome.
Wowzers, those rotten Romans!